Appendix 1.4 Vendidad Fargard 19.10-26 and 40-47. 10. Zarathustra recited the Ahuna Va'irya formula thus, as a heavenly lord is to be chosen, and so on. The righteous Zarathustra uttered the hymn, that I shall ask thee. Tell it me right, O Ahura. 11-12. Zarathustra asked Ahura Mazda, O Ahura Mazda, most munificent spirit, creator of the settlements, supplied with creatures, righteous one, I am waiting for what are to be fixed on the roof as a protection for Ahura Mazda, for the good, well-thought Bahumano, for perfect rectitude, Asha Lahishta, for suitable wealth, Kshatra Va'irya, for bountiful devotion, Spenta Armaite, how shall I defend them from that druksh, from the evil-doing, and gro ma'inyush? How shall I exercise the direct pollution? How the indirect pollution? How the corruption, nasush, from that Mazdayasnian home? How shall I purify the righteous man? How shall I bring the righteous woman purification? 13. Then said Ahura Mazda, do thou invoke, O Zarathustra, the good Mazdayasnian religion, do thou invoke, O Zarathustra, that the Ameshaspentas may keep guard over the seven-regioned earth. Do thou invoke, O Zarathustra, the spirits of the self-sustained universe, of boundless time, of the upper working air, Vayu. Do thou invoke, O Zarathustra, the mighty wind created by Mazda, and the bountiful one, Armaite, the lovely daughter of Ahura Mazda. 14. Do thou invoke, O Zarathustra, the spirit, Prabhasha, of me who am Ahura Mazda, that which is the greatest and best and most excellent and strongest and wisest and most beautiful and most pervaded by righteousness, whose soul is the beneficent text. Do thou thyself invoke this creation of Ahura Mazda. Zarathustra proclaimed my word thus, I invoke the rightful creation created by Ahura Mazda. I invoke Mithra of the wide cattle pastures, the well-armed with most glorious missiles, rays, with most victorious missiles. I invoke Shrosh, the righteous, the handsome, holding a sword in both hands against the head of the demons. 16. I invoke the beneficent text, Mathro Spento, which is very glorious. I invoke the spirits of the self-sustained universe of boundless time, of the upper working air. I invoke the mighty wind created by Mazda, and the bountiful one, Armaite, the lovely daughter of Ahura Mazda. I invoke the good Mazdayasnian religion, the Zarathustrian provision against the Devas, Vendidad. 17. Zarathustra asked Ahura Mazda, O giver of good, Ahura Mazda, with what ceremony shall I reverence? With what ceremony shall I propitiate this creation of Ahura Mazda? 18. Then said Ahura Mazda, thou shalt go, O Spitama Zarathustra, to one of the growing trees, a handsome, full-grown, strong one, and recite this saying, reverence to thee, O good tree created by Mazda, and righteousness is the best good, and so on, as in page 141, note 2. 19. One may carry off the barsoom twigs from it, a span long, a barleycorn thick. Thou mayest not clip its clipped barsoom. They shall be righteous men, priests who do that. One should be holding it in the left hand, reverencing Ahura Mazda, reverencing the Meshaspentas, and the golden-hued Homa, the exalted, and the handsome spirits, and the gifts of Bahumano, saying to the barsoom, O good one, created by Mazda, and right thou art the best. 20. Zarathustra asked Ahura Mazda, omniscient Ahura Mazda, thou art sleepless, unstupefied, thou who art Ahura Mazda, a good-minded man pollutes himself directly. A good-minded man pollutes himself indirectly. From a person who is stricken by a demon, he pollutes himself directly with a demon. May the good-minded man become purified. 21. Then said Ahura Mazda, thou shouldest procure, O Zarathustra, bull's urine, lawfully formed by a young entire bull. Thou shouldest bring out the purified things on the ground created by Ahura. The man who is a purifier, priest, should score around it a surrounding furrow. 22. He should mutter 100 praises of righteousness, thus, righteousness is the best good, and so on, as in page 141, note 2. Twice, as often he should recite aloud the Ahuna Ba'iryo thus, as a heavenly Lord is to be chosen, and so on, as in page 141, note 2, here in page 335. With 4 washings, he should wash with bull's urine, of that supplied by the bull, twice with water, of that created by Mazda. 23. Purified shall they be. The good-minded man, purified shall they be, the man who polluted him. The good-minded man shall draw on his clothes with the left arm and the right, with the right arm and the left. Then thou shouldest expose the good-minded man to the power-formed luminaries, that some of the stars appointed by destiny may shine upon him always till when his 9 nights shall elapse. 24. Then after the 9 nights thou shouldest bring consecrated waters, Zaothra, to the fire. Thou shouldest bring some of the hard firewoods to the fire. Thou shouldest bring some of the benzoin incense to the fire, and the good-minded man should have himself fumigated. 25. Purified they shall be, and so on, is verse 23 to, and the left. The good-minded man shall exclaim, reverence to Ahura Mazda, reverence to the Ameshaspentas, reverence to the other righteous ones. 26. Zarathustra asked Ahura Mazda, O omniscient Ahura Mazda, shall I arouse the righteous man? Shall I arouse the righteous woman? Shall I arouse the frontier of the turbulent, devil-worshipping men, that they may consume the land created by Ahura, that they may consume the flowing water, the crops of corn, grain, and the other of its superfluities? Then said Ahura Mazda, thou mayst arouse them, O righteous Zarathustra. 29 to 39. This is in the translation on page 254 to 257. We're on page 336 here. 40. Srosh, the righteous, prayed to and invoked, is pleased and attentive, the handsome triumphant Srosh. The righteous, thou shouldest bring consecrated waters, Zaothra, to the fire. Thou shouldest bring some of the hard firewoods to the fire. Thou shouldest bring some of the benzoin incense to the fire. Thou shouldest propitiate the fire, Vazishta. The smiter of the demon, Spen Jagra, thou shouldest bring cooked victuals and plenty of sweetmeats. 41. Thou shouldest perpetuate Srosh, the righteous, that Srosh, the righteous, may destroy the demons, Kunda, stupidity, Banga, drunkenness, and Vibanga, dead drunkenness. He attacks the frontier of the wizards, the turbulent devil-worshipping men from the nearest country. Having the purification ceremony, one should persevere in the practice and should cultivate sheep's food and food for cattle in the pastures. 42. I invoke the Kara fish, which is in the water at the bottom of deep lakes. I invoke the primeval, self-sustained boundary, most resisting the creatures of the 2 spirits. I invoke the 7 illustrious in fame. They are aged men, sons, and descendants. 43. He shouted and counter-shouted. He considered and reconsidered. Did the deadly Engro Ma'inyush, the demon of demons, with Indra, the demon Saurva, the demon Na'anha'ithya, the demon Ta'uru, Zaivricha, Eshma, the impetuous rusher, Akatasha, the demon, and the Bazan has, he causes the frost produced by the demons, deadly decay, and old age, ill-treating the fathers, and then continuing, Buete, the demon, Drewe, the demon, Daewe, the demon, Kasve, the demon, Isha, the demon, the most demoniacal demon of the demons. 44. Thus shouted he who is the evil-causing Engro Ma'inyush, the deadly. Why do the demons, the turbulent, evil originators, assemble in an assembly on the summit of Arizura? 45. The demons rushed, they shouted, the turbulent, evil originators. The demons howled, they shouted, the turbulent, evil originators. The demons displayed an evil eye, the turbulent, evil originators. We must assemble at our assembly on the summit of Arazura. 46. Born indeed is he who is the righteous Zarathustra at the dwelling of Pourushaspa. How shall we procure his death? He is the smiter of the demons. He is the opponent of the demons. He is the destroyer of destruction or falsehood. Downcast is the devil worshipper with the impurity, Nasush, produced by the demons, lying and falsehood. 47. The demons shouted. They rushed, the turbulent evil originators, to the bottom of the world of darkness, which is the raging hell. And so going back with some notes here, Arazura, verse 44, the mountain said to be situated at the gate of hell. Angro Ma'inyush, and here ends the omitted passage mentioned in page 336, note 3. We're in page 337. In verse 43, the word da'evo is taken as the last of this verse and not the first of the next one. So, pa'itisha, the demon, the most, and then we have Kasve, these three demons are respectively poverty, deceit, and dwarfishness. See Vendidad 2:29, page 234. And so that would be Buete, Drewe, Daewe, Kasve. Okay. So which three? Because the notes with Kasve, and there's one after on the list, and three before. Oh, so Buete, Drewe, and Daewe. Oh, and Kasve, they all have the same note number. Okay, never mind. And Buete, compare the Samskrita, Bhuta, and the vernacular Bhoot, the general name for goblins or evil spirits in India. Okay, the writing can be kind of small. Eshma, the demon of anger or wrath. Kashim in Persian. This Eshmo, the Evo, appears to be the Asmodeus of the apocryphal book of Tobit, chapter 3, verse 8. Za Ivricha, the demons of disease and decay, compare the Samskrita. Tura is Atura, diseased, and Jaras, decay. So that's a note for ta'uru, diseased and decays. Na un ha'ethia, see page 272 and 308. Sa'urva, oh, that's what we see here. Non ha'ethia. Okay, we have the same number here again. Oh, Indra and Sa'urva. Okay. That's what had the second note. Angro Ma'inyush. This appears to be a fragment of an old hymn in octosyllabic meter, which through some irregularities can be traced through the greater part of verses 43 to 45. It begins as follows. Fradavata vidavata framanyata vimanyata Andro Ma'inyush Pa'uru Maherko. Okay. And we are on to verse 42. The Kara fish, the chief of the water creatures. 10 of these fish, according to the Bundahish, are constantly employed in guarding the home tree in the midst of the sea, Ba'urukasha, from the assaults of a poisonous lizard sent by Engro Ma'inyush to injure it. Verse 41. From the nearest country, from this point to the name Engro Ma'inyush in verse 44, both text and Pahlavi translation are omitted in all manuscripts of the Vendidad, with Pahlavi except one or two, which seem to have been amended from the Vendidad Sada. The word Da'evo, which occurs in the manuscript before Nazdishtad, belongs to the Pahlavi version of the preceding clause. Vibanga. The Pahlavi version explains Vibanga as drunk without wine or inherently drunk. V must be used here as an intensive prefix. Well, you don't need drugs to reach states, whether that's done in a good or bad way. And sweetmeats, very probably gravy. The idea of sweetness based on the Pahlavi version, which is not, however, altogether unambiguous. And what are we here? Okay, the purified things in verse 21. Perhaps the purifier, if we suppose the nominative to have been substantiated for the accusative, which is not an unusual irregularity in this Fargard. And the exalted, Homa, perhaps the grammatical irregularities would be diminished by taking this as a verb and assuming that the priest's speech is addressed to the Homa and not to the Barsom. And so we're going to turn back to page 141 here, because there's some formulas that we are shortening here. So we have righteousness is the best good, a blessing it is, a blessing to be that which is righteous toward perfect righteousness. And we have, as a heavenly Lord is to be chosen, so as an earthly master, for the sake of righteousness, to be the giver of good thoughts of the actions of life towards Mazda, and the dominion is for the Lord, of whom has given as a protector for the poor. And I think that's it with that part. And okay, I think that's there's a note here that reading Dato van Hen is doubtful. It has been altered to Dato an Hen in the old manuscripts and is rendered in the Pahlavi version by Dadar Avad Homanae. Crater, mayest thou be, or may they be prosperous. And I don't know where there's a note here. Oh, giver of good. Okay. In verse 17. And for 10, see verse 1 to 9, page 253 and 254. From the northern quarter, Engro Ma'Inyush, the deadly, the demon of demons, rushed forth. Thus spoke the evil-doing Engro Ma'Inyush, the deadly, Druksh, the demon of destruction, rushed forth and killed the righteous Zarathustra. Then the Druksh rushed about him, the demon Buete, the destroyer, intending to kill. 2. Zarathustra recited the Ahuna Vairya. He invoked the good waters of good qualities. He confessed the Mazdayastian religion. Druksh was overthrown by it. The demon Buete, the destroyer, intending to kill, ran away. 3. Druksh then replied, Imposture, Engro Ma'Inyush, I did not think about doing any harm to Spitama. Zarathustra perceived in his mind that the wicked, evil-doing demons were laying snares for him. 4. Zarathustra arose, uninjured by the hostile intentions of the evil spirits, holding a stone in his hand. The righteous Zarathustra was praying to Ahura Mazda, the Creator. Wherever thou teachest this wide, round, far-extending earth, incline to support Pa'urushaspa's house. 5. Zarathustra informed Engro Ma'Inyush, evil-doing Engro Ma'Inyush, I will destroy the creatures produced by the demons. I will destroy death produced by the demons. I will destroy the witch Knathaete, for whose destruction the triumphant Sotians will be born out of the water. Kasoya from the eastern quarter. 6. To him spoke Engro Ma'Inyush, the creator of evils. Do not destroy my creations, O righteous Zarathustra. Thou art Pa'urushaspa's son. From birth thou invokest. Curse the good Mazdayastian religion. Thou shalt obtain fortune, such as King Vadagana obtained. 7. To him replied Spitama, Zarathustra, I will not curse the good Mazdayastian religion. Not if my body, not if my soul, not if my life should part asunder. 8. To him spoke Engro Ma'Inyush, the creator of evils. With whose words wilt thou smite? With whose words wilt thou suppress my creatures? Engro Ma'Inyush, and with what well-made weapons? 9. To him replied Spitama, Zarathustra, the mortar and dish and homa, and the words pronounced by Mazda are my best weapons. With these words I will smite, with these words I will suppress, with these well-made weapons, O evil-doing Engro Ma'Inyush. The beneficent spirit made them, and he made them in boundless time, the immortal benefactors, Ameshaspentas, the good rulers, and good arrangers cooperated. And so 141 again, in reference to 10 to be chosen, so a Honovaria formula. And Tell Me Truly, Yasna 44, and see page 158 to 151. And we don't have to read all that. And 11-12, we had Fixed on the Roof. This refers to what is mentioned in Zarathustra's address to Ahura Mazda in verse 4. See page 253. We are in 333, which would be better translated as follows. Where dost thou keep any of this asano on this wide, round, far-compassed earth to be fixed on the roof of the dwelling of Pa'urushaspa? The word Pa'ete Sabarahe can only be the locative of Pa'ete Sabarana, equivalent to the Samskrita Pratevaras, which would mean a curving towards a leaning to. A significant term for roof, which is actually used in the latter form in English technical language and in Sanskrit. Well, Samskrita is how they spell it. Pratehavara, Rigveda 7:66-14, is a term for the vault of the sky. Darajya has been mistaken for the river Daraja, mentioned in the Bundahish, page 53 and 58. Westergaard, set the W, as having the house of Pa'urushaspa on its bank, but is evidently only a gerund of the verb darej, which equals darez, to fix. Some Dasturs understand by asano. In verse 4, the Naugira are 9-jointed staff used by Zarathustra as a defense against the demons. They also understand the Sabarahe as the same weapon. Compare the Persian Zabar, a shield. 5 are resting places, are to be fixed on the roof for, and so on.